Hey guys, what's up? Time for another game theory video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. So today I'm going to do another kind of devil's advocate. I used that phrase last video, where I was talking about how although certain innovations and mechanics in video games, fighting games, can fix, quotation marks, problematic moves, quotation marks, right? Sometimes through those fixes, you can actually potentially make the move too powerful if you think about it. So then you actually have to think, is the move you're fixing actually too powerful? Because maybe in the context of the game is fine if you actually think about it, right? Context is king, right? So what I'm going to talk about today, again, kind of a devil's advocate video, because definitely I don't think this is necessarily good, but I'm going to talk about terrible mechanics that maybe made games better, right? An example might be, I often talk about, not often I guess, but I use the example of Street Fighter Alpha 2 as, you know, it's just such an extremely hypocritical game in the mind of the fighting game community. People tell a fucking fairy tale about the game in ways that it doesn't even work. But there's a bit of a narrative, it's not exactly a hot take, that as terrible as custom combos are, they maybe make the game better or make the game more balanced, right? I don't think that's a hot take to say that. Some people would say that. Again, I'm not, talking anything else about the game, because I think the game is, it's ridiculous. Again, it's a fucking fairy tale game the way people talk about it. But there is that kind of devil's advocate that even if custom combos suck, you'll hear people talk about that like, oh, well, they help balance the game, blah, blah, blah. Well, I just, whatever. Okay, devil's advocate there, right? Another example might be a game like, say, CVS2, right? People talk about roll canceling, right? Maybe roll canceling makes the game more balanced. I've heard that before. Personally, when I think of roll canceling, instantly, I'm like, well, the game's not even the same. That's instantly the narrative monologue I'm thinking of. It's not even the same game. Let's not even get into, does it make the game more balanced? We're not even playing the same game anymore. That's instantly what I think of, right? But CVS2, that's another story. But so what I'm going to do today then is terrible mechanics, again, that maybe make the game quotation marks better, right? Since I played Street Fighter Alpha 1 recently, well, what is something that potentially makes Street Fighter Alpha 1 better that is terrible, not well thought out whatsoever? And I would say it's actually rolling. Right? Rolling, and I talk about, a lot of times people hate in video games, fighting games, or they're definitely trying to get rid of it. They hate that kind of guessing nature of video games, right? They hate something is not in their control. Maybe the part they hate about fighting games is that they can't control what the other person does technically, right? That's why you can lose. Two people are playing, but, people will say, oh, I hate that this guy is spazzy, blah, 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 whatever it might be. People might hate, oh, rolling makes the game spastastic, whatever, right? And in a way, rolling, as terrible as it is, and again, rolling in Alpha 1 really is terrible, because you can basically roll 99% of the moves, but it's actually part of like the meta and how the game is actually played, right? Because you have characters, and just in this, that punish rolls very hard, and there's just this huge mind game of punishing rolls. And again, rolling is something that you can't control when the opponent does it. In Alpha 1, you only get the really long roll, the really long, fast roll. It's not like Alpha 2 or Alpha 3 where you have like a short roll and a long roll. And I think the long rolls are even, slower in Alpha 3. Maybe the long rolls are slower in Alpha 2, thinking about it as well. But, you just get a very long, fast roll in Alpha 1, right? So and since you can roll 99.9% of the moves, even juggles half the time in the game, there's this sort of mind game and guessing game of, is the opponent going to roll? Every time I knock down the guy, I have to guess, am I going for my, media attack setup, whatever setup I might be doing, or am I going to punish the roll? And that is a part of the match that you can't control if the opponent is going to do out of it. And that's why I say, I talk about, why is a character like Guy, not something with the video, not something what normal people that only have played the game a couple times before or who are never good at it. Why do they say Guy is good? People tell a fairy tale about the game. They're never fucking good at it, have no idea how the game works. But one of the strengths of Guy in Street Fighter Alpha 1 is actually he punishes rolls very hard. If he knocks you down and he guesses you're going to roll, you might have instantly lost the match. If he goes for a juggle, though, but his juggle off, say, a bush and flip thing, that's like half life. So there's this weird kind of guessing game. Am I going to guess that he's going to super, say, after a bush and throw? I eat half my life. But I can roll it. It's not guaranteed. But if he guesses I'm going to roll, I might have instantly lost the match as well, because he's going to do 40% combo that instantly almost dizzies me, right? And then Guy is also strong because Guy has such a strong overhead in the game, right? His overhead does a huge chunk of damage, does a lot of dizzy. And so Guy, he can deal with whatever the opponent does. He has options, right? And that's why a lot of the stronger characters in that game, Akuma, Ken, Ryu, Rose, they punish you very, very fucking hard if you roll, right? That's part of the mind game of the game. Akuma's doing whatever he wants to do. Akuma goes for a combo to sweep the hurricane kick, whatever. You can roll it, even if you don't roll it. You know what? You get comboed if you rolled. He goes for a dizzy combo himself, right? Ryu, he knocks you down. Ryu has dizzy combos off a roll. Rose can fucking fuck your shit up if she has a super. Basically, instantly kills you, right? These characters are very strong, and they are not affected by it, if you get what I'm saying. Because if the guy is knocked down or if they're not, it's just a guessing game. Some of the weaker characters in the game, you could say, they don't punish rolls quite as strong. But whatever the case, rolling is still a guessing game. But if you get into why this kind of makes the game balanced, if you think about the weaker characters, let's think about a character like Dan. Think about a character like Dan versus Akuma. Holy shit. Akuma has a legit, Akuma's air fireball. It's a super turbo fireball, right? His air fireball, the angle of it, it's ridiculous. He's air fireballing the shit out of you. It's obnoxious. But even if Akuma is the best guy in the game, Akuma is not, exempt. You can still guess to roll from Akuma, right? Now, if Akuma guesses right that you're going to roll, you might have instantly died, but you still have to guess, right? There's still a guessing game there. So if you think even about a weaker character like Dan, oh fuck, he's throwing fireballs all over. How the fuck am I going to get in on this guy? Well, who knows? Maybe you see an air fireball. You know what I mean? You're being pushed out the fuck, so you decide to chicken block it. You chicken block the air fireball, and then you roll to get back in to kind of keep him from zoning you that same way. And you get a chance to get in. And from that sort of distance that you're chicken blocking an air fireball, you're not going to get hit by the dizzy combo, right? The fact that you can roll any and everything, you know what I mean? Maybe some of these weaker characters aren't punishing rolls as hard as some of the stronger characters, which... well, that's why they're one of the better characters in the game. What are you going to do? There are good characters and better characters. At the end of the day, just because you're a good character in Alpha 1 doesn't mean that the opponent still can't guess against you. Right? Do you get what I'm saying? Rolling is terribly done in Alpha 1. Right? It makes the games feel so clusterfucky and so spazzy, and it feels like you're constantly flipping a coin, right? But at least these weaker characters, they can still guess. Because if the better character goes for their mix-up or their combo, and you guess to roll, hey, maybe you get to punish them. Maybe you just comboed them now. Do you get what I'm getting at? Terrible mechanic. But it's a terrible mechanic that in a ghetto kind of way makes some of the lesser characters... they still can try to guess a little bit. Maybe they're not going to punish the rolls when the other guy guesses, right? But guessing is kind of like what is that? God, my English is so bad. Kind of like, the balance and the chaos. And that's not exactly what I'm thinking about, but hopefully you get what I'm getting at, right? Sometimes games have terrible things. And again, this is a devil's advocate video, right? Sometimes games have terrible things that can kind of in a way help balance them. I think the game should just be more of a solid game overall. You shouldn't be relying on, hopefully, serendipitously, this terrible mechanic works itself out, right? You know what I mean? But hopefully you get the idea that I'm getting at here. Again, this is kind of a devil's advocate video because I'm not trying to say that you should purposely put something terrible in and hope that it fucking Jurassic Parks itself, right? But just a perspective on video games, because you can't think about games like that, right? Anyway, the end.